Hi guys, today is June the 3rd, 2019 at 3 minutes past 1 in the morning over here in the UK, and I had a lot of tabs open that I wanted to kind of discuss, but then this train of thought has come to me is just going to be my main focus. Should be very quick. So you guys have probably heard about the shooting that took place at Virginia Beach and um, how 12 people were killed, 13 including the gunman. I don't need to draw the comparisons here. We have 12 possible victims or something in this particular scene. And just here, we have the image, well, the silhouette of what we think is a representation of Donald Trump, just with that toupee kind of side hairpiece, reference to the hair again, the hands, the way they're pointed down, the way that he sits. That has classic Donald Trump imagery. Now, obviously, we also have pointed out and we've seen that the hands and the legs make up either the letter M or the letter W or the number 3. Now, if we're looking at it as the number 3, Donald Trump is going to be arriving in the UK today, June 3rd. Now, if we go back just a little bit to when we first get into this scene, I've pointed out before as well that we have the crown on the head. Well, I call it a crown because the stag horns just seem to be a reference to the crown, and that's also taken from Game of Thrones, where they have the crown that everyone's fighting over, and that crown is made out of stag antlers or stag horns. So in this image, that's what we appear to have here. So I'm thinking if we've got a representation of Donald Trump, the number 3, and a reference to a crown, then he's coming to the UK to visit the Queen. Today they'll be in Buckingham Palace. That's where the other interesting interpretation came out of. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. I'll just bring that back up. No sound. Okay, so just here, let's get back there. 1 second, try to make this a bit quieter. Is it working? I don't know, I'll just try and speak over it. But anyway, so Donald Trump is going to be visiting the Queen on the 3rd, and as I mentioned, the crown, the stag horns on top, the characteristics of Donald Trump, and the number 3. So maybe that's all talking about June 3rd. But then when you see this stag deer leaping up on flames, one of the clear references that I haven't thought of as of yet was a buck. And obviously that made me think of Buckingham Palace. So we've got the number 3, the characteristics of Donald Trump, the crown reference, the buck on fire, and I'm thinking Buckingham Palace may go up in flames, and obviously that connects with the interpretations and the theories of something happening to the Queen as well. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are not going to be meeting Donald Trump at Buckingham Palace on his first day. Prince Harry will meet him later on that same day, but they won't be meeting him straight away. I don't think it's going to happen on the 3rd itself because Donald Trump's here for 3 days, so over those 3 days will be extremely high watch on those type of events. Just watching and hopefully making sure that none of those things happen. But if that's June 3rd, we clearly have the reference to the tsunami down here. So it may be that in the next coming days, we see a tsunami event. I don't think it's connected to the volcanic collapse tsunami scenario. I think that comes later on in the year. But it's possible that it's the earthquake tsunami scenario. You know, the 9 point whatever, or even can't go above 9, but I'm saying 9 plus, basically. And I'm looking for that earthquake in either the Indian Ocean or just around the Japan, Philippines kind of region, near to Australia, just in that kind of section of ocean there, from the Indian Ocean into the Pacific Ocean. Um, if that happens, obviously, then it will be a clear identifier to us that we are now seeing these events unfold, which will be easier to connect. Obviously, I've seen J.K. Bargat's interpretation for June 5th, and it is intriguing because I see some things that may be pointing to that date as well. Now that he's mentioned it, you've got the possibility of this being an upside down J, of all the ways we've looked at it before, as a letter L or number 7. I'm not discounting those interpretations, just adding on this to it. And obviously, you can see the number 5 here. So maybe that's June 5th, and we have Donald Trump on his back over here. We also have, as I mentioned before, the shark here. The head makes up the pound coin symbol. But going the other way, it could also be the letter J, and the fin could either be a V for the Roman numeral 5 or the number 7. Again, same with the hangman over here. The F in the body, if that's a alphanumeric representation of the number 6, then that could be June. And then you've got the tongue, which could be a V or could be a 7 sideways. So June 3rd today, June 5th, and June 7th appear to be significant. But because it's split into those one day on, one day off, I'll just say keep an eye out from today or tomorrow for some of you guys, but June 3rd to June 7th, because there may be some indications in here that is pointing to that time. I mean, even the missile up here, we've looked at this line moving from here, going down here as an L, could be a J. The F could represent 6 as well, so I mean, it could be telling you June in 2 different ways. And then the number 3 there, and the number 3 here. So June 3rd, June 3rd. Look out for a missile launch, or, as I always say, the 2 different interpretations for this, the missile launch or news around the urination rumors involving Donald Trump. So that would be today. We'd hear about that if that was a correct translation. You guys, we are keeping watch. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.